So it's interesting to watch the fallout of the Trump president winning victory, uh, because there's clear pushes towards finding a solution in regards to Syria with Putin, and potential collaboration with Putin around you know taking on ISIS, and not fighting as well the Syrian government, because that doesn't make sense. But it has been the Obama policy. But there's and it's clear that Trump, at least it seems to be clear that Trump is not thinking that the world has to be unipolar, that it has to be the U.S. at the center, and at the center of the world, so to speak. That it can't, that these other nations are going to have a place, and we're gonna have to find a way to involve them in our activity, and move forward with them, because they're intent on moving forward. It's the past few years, especially with Xi Jinping and with Putin, you've had a very clear directive towards development in all across the world, in many different nations, in the third world, and these nations, and in the BRICS nations. So it's the rest of the world is moving in that direction, and I think that Trump's attitude towards them does represent, or does reflect, this changing reality. That reality is pushing in this direction, and trying to squash all these governments that are looking to do business and work for themselves, and to work for for their neighbors as well, is not going to function. It's just not going to be possible. So, in the face of just beating their head against a wall, they're looking for other options, and that's good. The other thing that's interesting is Ed Klein, who wrote the book Blood Feud, which I have here, which is a very good book. People should read. Which details the infighting between the Clintons and the Obamas. Ed Klein has come forward and that had spoken about a top aide giving him some information about the Clintons, about how Bill Clinton is very angry with Hillary over her loss, and what she had organized her campaign around, because he had said there was a need to speak to the people on the economic issues and that are affecting them, and not to get caught in this the issues pushing we got a anti-terror, Putin, these sorts of State Department issues that just don't mean anything to the grassroots voters, and it's why they chose Trump. So I mean, it's sad that she didn't listen to him, and that she got pushed out of the race and wasn't able to change to really address the needs of the nation and her constituency. I am an old school Democrat in many ways, and definitely would have liked to see the Democratic Party relive its or re-embrace that FDR legacy, which is sort of the closest historical link to a really great presidency that we have had. And there's been others, Eisenhower, there's even Reagan to a certain extent, but who have touched on the moving the nation forward and really taking it great strides in a good direction. But since Kennedy, it's been largely downhill. So that historic link is sort of the reason why I'm nominally a Democrat, and why I would have liked to see Hillary, do better, and adopt a policy that was more realistic. But that didn't happen. So gonna have to deal with the times. And of course, if Trump is serious about rebuilding the country and moving forward, then work with him. That has to be the Clinton was mentioning that the violence and black on black violence is at a high, and they're disappointed with the 8 years of Obama, and that there's economically they're worse. They're not better off. They're worse off. So it has been affecting the how they vote and where they and if they vote, and so her not addressing those issues, the economic issues, and taking on Wall Street really destroyed her potential to be president. So we'll see. And that's you get a sense of feeling sad for Bill that he's trying hard to push and change Hillary, and she didn't listen to him on it. But the other main thing to talk about as far as the news goes is Turkey. Right? Turkey has been basically telling the EU that off and saying that they shouldn't. We're not gonna, if we're gonna be treated as we're gonna be kicked out every time that every time something happens, we'll just leave. We don't want to be a part of it. And there are other options. And in that context, you have what's it called? Steinmeier was threatening to throw them out. I was standing next to it. No. Turkey foreign minister told Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu told Steinmeier that Turkey is frustrated at the EU's hypocrisy and double standards. So, he's they're fed up. They don't want to be a part of it if they're not gonna get something from it. The other thing is that China is looking to do business with Turkey and to work with them around different economic projects. China is going across the world with economic projects to many third world countries, to many first world countries, second world countries. They're making bridges all over the place, and Turkey wants to sees that as an opportunity, and rightly so. So it's their potential there for a real economic the Silk Road going through Turkey and into Europe, which is beneficial for everyone. So that's the main thing I wanted to discuss. Let's see if there's anything. Oh, and the AIIB is looking to fund different infrastructure projects for Iran. And despite the media, insanity around Iran and around, it's these countries are looking to develop, and they have, it's clear that they're, trying to do something to improve their quality of life, and the U.S. should be a part of that, and we'll see if under Trump we can get to be a part of that. And it's good that they're working with China. If China wants to finance these things, that's great. We should encourage it. We should be a part of it. We should be a part of the financing of that. But I think that brings up the last thing I wanted to talk about, which is that in the media, especially, I've been seeing really hardcore demonizations of not just Trump, but of Putin and of foreign powers, and it's really disturbing to see such fear-mongering over of other countries from the mainstream media, and it bodes ill for the majority of the population. If people come whipped up this, and there's an event of some kind, then people could accept. I think if people are beaten down, so they don't really want to accept another war, another conflict. They've largely had enough of it for the time being. But potentially, within this fervor, some event taking place, and could spark a war, that with greater implications. So we should, that needs to be stopped with every call we make, and every act, and every everybody who listens to me. So that's what I wanted to discuss, and I'll see you all tomorrow.